I was talking about what's going on Capitol Hill and the way the media are reporting this. The red Chinese media based in America called CNN, MSNBC, and the rest of them. You would think that the Democrats and the Republicans and the White House just trying to work out details. That's not what's going on Capitol Hill. And thanks to the Washington Free Beacon, let me tell you, Charles Fain Lehman writes, as the nation braces for the effects of the Wuhan coronavirus. And by the way, you'll know whether a person is a propagandist for the regime in China or not by the way they label this virus. If they call it the Wuhan coronavirus or the Chinese coronavirus, then you'll know they're not influenced by the propagandists in the regime in China. If they call it something like Code 19 or whatever numbers and letters they want to get, then you'll know that they're mouthpieces for the red Chinese government. Congressional Democrats and left-leaning groups have seized on the moment of crisis to push for the enactment of long-standing policy goals. Legislation introduced by House and Senate Democrats has snuck in universal employer-funded sick leave. Not that you employers have enough difficulty going on right now, but the Democrats don't care about that. Alongside temporary emergency measures, potentially shuttering employers, and serving as a poison pill to slow congressional negotiations. Democratic electoral groups, meanwhile, have already included the coronavirus in their attack ad messaging, while left-leaning policy organizations have called for substantial reductions in incarceration and enforcement in alignment with their pre-existing policy goals. Such efforts to push through long-standing legislative priorities recall the attitude of former Obama White House Chief of Staff Rahm Emanuel during the Great Recession. You never let a serious crisis go to waste. House Democrats yesterday, released their proposal for a comprehensive fiscal response to the impending pandemic. Much of the bill pertains to emergency-related funding, including an additional $500 million for SNAP and guaranteed sick leave for individuals quarantined with the disease. But the bill's sick leave section creates new obligations for employers to allow employees to accrue sick leave regardless of whether or not there's a national crisis, and which will persist after the pandemic is over. In effect, the bill would impose a paid leave mandate on employers nationwide, independent of current emergency conditions. A long-standing legislative priority of Democrats, which Republicans have consistently opposed for fear of cost. See, the Democrats know how to kill jobs. They don't know how to create jobs, they know how to kill jobs. And this is what they're trying to do now, to push in their agenda. The big labor's agenda, the radical left's agenda, the big agenda. The bill's sick leave section creates new obligations for employers to allow employees to accrue sick leave. As I said, Senator Patty Murray scored approving headlines for attempting and failing to pass a proposal for employer-funded sick leave through the Senate Health Committee. Senator Lamar Alexander blocked her efforts, saying that while universal sick leave would be a good idea, the federal government should pay the cost, not small employers already facing an impending recession. Actually, it's a lousy idea all around. We have no money in the federal government. Although Murray and co-sponsor Representative Rosa DeLauro framed their bill as an emergency measure in response to the Wuhan coronavirus, the pair were, in fact, reintroducing a bill they had pushed before. As Samuel Hammond, Director of Poverty and Welfare Policy for the Libertarian Niskanen Center, noted, DeLauro and Murray have introduced versions of this bill in the past and will no doubt do so again in the future. For better or worse, Republicans are simply not about to pass a new and permanent paid leave mandate, but they may be open to something more temporary. This is how the Democrats open the door. And here they are now, using this pandemic, as the World Health Organization calls it, using this emergency bill to push their agenda. And you haven't heard a damn thing about this on the Constipated News Network, on MSLSD, on the pages of the New York Slimes, the Washington Compost, or any of the rest of the big Red China media in America.